Coming up, the Vikings win a wild one in London and the Cardinals storm back in the second half for a win. This is Locked On Game to Game NFL.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
You're listening to Locked On Game to Game NFL, local experts taking you from game to game of Week 4 in the NFL. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and thank you for making Locked On your first listen every weekday. The Atlanta Falcons built up a lead in the first quarter, gave it away to the Browns throughout the game in Atlanta, and then regrouped in time to come back and beat Cleveland. With both teams now at 500, Locked On Falcons goes over the roller coaster ride to the finish.
Win streak, the 2 games, as they certainly established the run in a thrilling Week 4 win over the Cleveland Browns, rushing for 202 yards on 35 carries with rushing touchdowns from Cordero Patterson and Caleb Huntley. It was Huntley that proved kind of the hero of the day, as Patterson battled a knee injury that limited him to just 9 carries and 38 yards, but Huntley was the primary back spearheading a critical 10-play fourth quarter drive where the Falcons ran the ball in all 10 plays, 8 of which came from Huntley for a total of 54 of those 75 yards, and he capped it off with a 5-yard touchdown. And you also got contributions on the ground from 5th-round draft pick Tyler Algier, who led the team with 84 rushing yards on 10 carries. But it wasn't the Falcons offense that sealed this win for the Falcons. It was once again the defense for the second week in a row with a game-sealing interception for the second week in a row, this time from cornerback D. Alford, picking off Jacoby Brissett with a minute to go to preserve the Falcons' victory. For more coverage of this win, follow Locked On Falcons, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In an NFC East rivalry in Dallas, the Cowboys took the lead at the end of the first half against the Commanders and never looked back. And both Locked On Cowboys and Locked On Commanders tells you all you need to know from Jerry World.
Cowboys get another fantastic performance from their defense, and they get another fantastic win. Hi, I'm Landon McCool, the Locked On Cowboys podcast, and the Cowboys beat the Washington Commanders 25-10 at home in Dallas with another victory with Cooper Rush, as Dak sits on the sideline and gets 1 week closer to coming back. Huge defensive performance led by Trayvon Diggs, who had 2 key pass deflections and an interception at the end of the half, and just overall dominance on the pass rush that made Carson Wentz feel uncomfortable the entire game. The Cowboys kept the pressure on the Commanders' offense throughout the game, with the pressure, and then eventually having to stop the run in the second half after giving up some gashes early on, but were able to hold on, and with another fantastic performance by Cooper Rush, throwing 2 touchdowns, including one to Michael Gallup, who came back from an ACL injury this game. The Cowboys offense looks to be rising right where it needs to be, getting ready for where Dak Prescott will come back from his hand injury. For more on the Dallas Cowboys, make sure you check us out on the Locked On Cowboys podcast or on any of the podcasts on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It may not be time to hit the panic button yet, but after another loss, the hand at least has to be hovering over that bad boy, and that's the atmosphere surrounding the Washington Commanders. I'm David Harrison of the Locked On Commanders podcast, and following the team's 3rd straight loss, 2nd within the NFC East division, things are not going well, not going as well at least as they were in Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. For a 2nd straight week, Carson Wentz looked uncomfortable, out of rhythm, tight, not delivering the ball on time or accurately when he did. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders defense for a 2nd straight week, keeping the team in it as long as they could, but eventually enough was enough. The Dallas Cowboys come away with a double-digit win over the Washington Commanders, who now fall to 1-3 ahead of a matchup against a tough AFC opponent, the Tennessee Titans, next week. For more on this loss and everything Washington Commanders, check out Chris Russell and I on the Locked On Commanders podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Coming up, the Giants win without a quarterback at the end. This is Locked On Game to Game NFL. Our next partner has a product that I have been using every day for a few weeks now. I started taking Athletic Greens 1 or AG1 because I wanted better gut health, more energy, an optimized immune system, and I didn't like taking all of those pills and vitamins. With 1 delicious scoop of AG1, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food-sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Now, if you go to athleticgreens.com/NFL network, you are going to get a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Again, all you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NFL network. And I promise you that you will notice a difference. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. So head on over to athleticgreens.com/NFL network to take ownership over your health and get your free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Welcome back to Locked On Game to Game NFL. I'm Kim Becker, and thank you for making Locked On Game to Game your first listen every weekday. The New York Giants got a win at home over the Bears, but Daniel Jones got hurt in the process. Locked On Giants tells you what you need to know on the game and on the injury.
The New York Giants defeated the Chicago Bears 20-12 thanks to its rushing game, but it was a costly win for Big Blue, who wrapped up its 3-game home stretch on Sunday. Hi, everybody. Patricia Traynor reporting. And the Giants literally ran wild, recording 262 rushing yards on 44 carries. Of those, Saquon Barkley recorded his second 100-yard rushing performance of the season, rushing for 146 yards on 31 carries. It was Barkley's 14th career 100-yard rushing performance. The Giants' victory, which also saw the defense record 5 sacks, might have been a costly one, though, in terms of injury. Both Giants quarterbacks suffered injuries. Daniel Jones, a left ankle injury, and his backup, Tyrod Taylor, a concussion. Taylor's injury forced the Giants to put Jones back in the game to run out the clock. The Giants' other injuries included right tackle Evan Neal,
Wasn't pretty. The Cardinals got a victory in Carolina, 26-16. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. The defense was the star of the show today, forcing a couple turnovers, setting the table for the Arizona Cardinals offense to do what they do. It just took until the second half for them to do it. 23 unanswered points at one time. Zach Allen, Zaven Collins, J.J. Watt, Byron Murphy, Jalen Thompson. The defense looked fantastic. The Cardinals beat a team they were supposed to beat. And the Kyler Murray to Hollywood Brown connection happened again. Another touchdown for Hollywood Brown. That is the bright spot for the Arizona Cardinals offense. Philadelphia Eagles coming into town in Week 5, the only undefeated team in the NFL. Cardinals are 2-0 on the road, 0-2 at home. Hopefully they can get their first win in Week 5 at home against Philadelphia Eagles. Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Check me out Monday through Friday, free and available wherever you get your podcasts.